So today we're talking about personal efficiency and effectiveness. So have you heard the saying that like the average person uses 10% of their brain, like their brain power, like brain capacity? Like there's debate on like the scientific accuracy of that. But I like to think that way, like you have much more capacity than you imagine you do. So that's in terms of like thinking and like just mental processing, but also in terms of just like your effectiveness throughout the day. So if you had to guess, like if you're being 100% efficient with your time during your day, like every minute you're maximizing your output, you're doing exactly what you know that you should be doing, right? So that's 100%. Like where do most people fall on that scale? Like what percentage are they operating at? So like for myself, I'm probably at 60% most of the time. And then like there's days where it's 80%, but I know there's always like, there's room for improvement. There's room there where I could be more efficient. So then like for a long time, for years, I've been asking myself like, how can I increase that percentage? Like what do I need to do, right? Like and a lot of it, like the main obstacle usually is your own mind and like the monkey brain that says like, oh, I want a snack. Oh, I want to look at this video on Instagram. And so like coming up with strategies to overcome that. So we'll talk about three things that'll basically like get your time back so that you can have more time like in one day. How do you do more of what you want to be doing in a day? The first one is I call the capital investment of time. And so this comes from capitalism, basically, where you think of somebody has capital, they have money saved up, they have capital, and they say we're gonna invest this somewhere. So I'm not gonna have this money anymore, this big savings, but we're gonna put it into something that's gonna generate, over time, it's gonna generate a return, which is worthwhile. So I think of the same concept, but in terms of times. Where can I invest time that's gonna provide me with a higher return on my time later on? Anyone think of an example off the top of your head before
Planning?
Yeah, planning is just like an easy one. You could wake up and just start running through your day and trying to handle things as they come up, or you could make a plan and say, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then you have direction, and then because you have that direction, you don't have to stop and make decisions, and decisions take time and cost mental energy. The one I really like as an example of this is emails. And spam emails. And Katya will be familiar with this, but junk emails. So how many, the average person might get 200 spam emails in a day. You sign up for a subscription and they're just sending you, you're enrolled in their, like we have email campaigns, so they'll enroll you in their email campaign and they're sending you an email every day. And most people, I think, the average person will I'll just delete that, or just click on it, oh, that's useless, and leave it. So how much time do you spend in one day going through 200 emails? It might be 5 seconds, and so that's 1,000 seconds, that's like 15 minutes every day. So what if you did a capital investment, and the investment is, instead of taking 5 seconds to look at the email, you take 25 seconds and you unsubscribe. So then you have an upfront investment of your time that might be an hour over the span of a week, and you unsubscribe from all those emails. And I did the math, and this ties into the second point, but I went into ChatGPT and did the math. How much time did I save over the course of my life by unsubscribing from 200 email lists? And it's like 3 40-hour work weeks or something insane, like this huge amount of time. And you never think otherwise. Oh, it's just an email. Everybody gets emails. I just deal with these. But you invest the time and then you get that back. And so I tried to think of more ways to invest my time to get more time back.
This easy because it's quite easy to respond to their emails, but what I did is I automated it. I spent like an hour setting up the flows to automate all the fields and inquiries, and I don't have to respond to them manually anymore, and it saved me a couple of minutes every day doing that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and so by putting that hour up front, then you get that back over the course of time.
Yeah. And
then it doesn't have to be digital, right? Like the other day, Max was building a jig in the shop for mortising door hinges. Rather than, the way I've done it, sometimes I'll just make a temporary jig on site. And so it's a site-made jig, and you have to do it every time. Or you do the layout every single time of where you're gonna, run the router. But instead you build a jig once, you might spend an hour or two building the jig, but now it saves you 10 minutes every time you have to install a door. So that adds up quickly. So that's the same idea. So where can you make an upfront investment that'll that'll save you time. So then I mentioned GPT, and this is a realization I had was, well, actually, no, that's YouTube. So ChatGPT is just like this incredible resource because it's access to all of human knowledge on the internet, basically. And so if you can ask good questions, and one of my favorite questions to ask is, how can I do this simple thing better? So if there's something I'm doing that's a routine that I do frequently throughout my day, I can just say, go to ChatGPT and say, I need to do quotes for people for accent walls. How can I make this more efficient? How can I do it faster? How can I make it a better service for the customer? And it's going to come up with ideas. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be a complicated subject. I don't have to ask it about quantum physics. I can just say, what's the best way to plan out my day? If I need to get this, and this done today, what order should I do it in? So asking for help with simple questions, and it's like having an outside perspective or like an advisor that you can just bounce ideas off of. You don't even necessarily have to take action and use its advice, but typing out the question and saying, oh, this is my problem, typing it out forces your brain to put it into words, and then you get feedback, and then the feedback might just generate an idea that you're like, oh, actually, I have a better solution than ChatGPT. But having sort of that interaction helps. So I do that all the time. Like many times throughout the day, I'll go to ChatGPT and yeah, it's very helpful. And in a similar vein is YouTube. YouTube's the other one. So that's like people creating the knowledge base of how to do everything. So I'll just write these down. Running dry. And the other thing with GPT is the quality of the answers you're going to get is directly related to the quality of your questions. Because, so like computer programmers will say garbage in, garbage out. So there's lots of people who will ask GPT stupid questions and get a stupid answer, and they'll say, look, the program is stupid. No, your question was. So if you ask it really smart questions, you'll get really smart answers. So, but yeah, even with simple questions, that doesn't mean it's a dumb question, but something that can help you. And so, like I was saying, YouTube is the same one. And I realized this a long time ago, and I said, I was cutting tomatoes, and I was like, nobody's ever taught me how to cut a tomato. I just started doing it when I was 10 maybe, and this is how I do it. I'm like, there's probably a better way.